Dub. That's much better. Hey guys, Jeremy with The Warrior Solution. In this video we are talking about gun belts. Core Essentials was kind enough to send me 4 different gun belts to compare and review. They sent their new gun belt 2.0, the Nexbelt EDC gun belt, a 511 TDU gun belt, and a Klik Belt gun belt. Every belt is similar in ways and different in ways as well. The two that are relatively similar, very similar in fact, is Nexbelt and Core Essentials. They both use the ratcheting system like a giant zip tie to latch, which is awesome for comfort and adjustability and ease of use. The 511 belt uses a traditional, pass-through itself sort of buckle system. I'm not a huge fan of those. That's what I was issued initially in the military that I immediately replaced as soon as I could. And the Klik Belt, which uses a Cobra buckle, which is a absurdly strong buckle that you can, repel out of helicopters and whatever with, if you ever feel the need to do so with a belt. That being said, let's go ahead and open these up. First impressions of this Nexbelt. I really like the finish on the buckle. I'm a huge fan of gray and gunmetal, and I like the styling of this buckle. It's very sleek and modern. I like that. It's very similar to Core's design as far as the ratchet system for the belt. It uses the same sort of, giant zip tie system as the belt. Locking mechanism. The actual buckle here uses a magnet instead of a spring. That's interesting. It doesn't feel super strong. So we'll see how that goes. First impression doesn't feel super strong, but who knows, maybe it is. But there's the buckle. I like that. Pretty cool. The belt itself is this OD green, real thick nylon material. Looks like we got 2 layers. Your particular waist size, just cut it, set it, forget it. Next up is the 511 TDU. 190 TDU. And my initial impressions of this, it feels, I can tell it's a relatively cheap belt. That's kind of the sense that I'm getting from this belt. It doesn't give me warm and fuzzies that it's a super high quality belt. The buckle itself, or the closure mechanism, whatever you want to call this, is plastic. So no metal on the belt at all, which I guess is good if you're going through metal detectors and whatnot a lot. But yeah, this is plastic, and the whole belt is pretty rigid and stiff, which is good for a carry belt for sure. Can't really bend it, so that's good. And this is 2 layers of nylon webbing. And we have 5 individually sewn strands or whatever to hold the thing together. The next belt has 5, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep. So 5 strands of thread holding everything together. Alright, the Klik Belt. So, initial first impressions. The belt itself is rigid, nice and stiff, feels pretty strong. This part here is not rigid. It's very, flexible and malleable. This is the part that's going to go through the buckle system. And this particular belt has a Cobra buckle on it, which is that super fancy schmancy click together and not coming together. So this is one where you can basically set it up as a battle belt, run it through a padded waist belt and then set the size you want. So you can throw it on, push it together, and you're good to go. 3 lines of reinforcements. We got 1, 2, 3, holding everything together. Cool. Core essentials. So what we got here? Core essentials. Initial impression of the buckle. I like the finish a lot. This kind of black. It's not textured per se, but it's got a nice look to it that I really like. The shape of the buckle is definitely very military, tactical. I kind of like the sort of modern look of the Nexbelt a little bit more than the core belt. But for a tactical belt, you wouldn't necessarily need something like this that is reflective and shiny and kind of, hey, look at me. This is much more subdued and much more tactical. That being said, this belt buckle also has 2 set screws to lock the belt down once you get it sized to your specific waist. And the locking mechanism on this is, in fact, a spring. So you can see it in there. Right there. So this one feels pretty stiff compared to the Nexbelt. My first impressions of the core. Really like it. I really like the way that this one feels. The inside of the belt here has it's like almost a rubber layer. It's not the same nylon as the outside like the others. It's a different material entirely. Sort of a rubber neoprene kind of feeling. So we get 6 threads. Yeah, you can see it better on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So 6 threads holding the belt together. And this is also proprietary stiffening agent that Core Essentials use to make their belts, their gun belts, extremely rigid, which is awesome for carrying weapons. Track itself, very similar to my other core belt, pretty much the same thing, nice and black. And Nexbelt, cutting the Core Essentials belt to size. Take your normal waist size, add 2 inches at a minimum to be safe. Remember, you can always cut more off, you can't add it back on. So I'm going to start at 36 here. Get yourself a nice sharp pair of scissors for this. Apparently I should go to the gym more. Due to the proprietary material in the Core Essentials Gun Belt 2.0, we have had to resort to our R&D department for cutting materials. Insert into the buckle for your spiked jaws of doom. There we go. Tighten your set screws back down. Alright, that is the buckle installed. Here we go. First time. So, next up, sizing the Nexbelt. Nice scissors. Or lightsaber. And coach. Alright, go through. That is the inside of Nexbelt. Insert the cut end into the buckle. Close your teeth. Oh, jeez. Okay. Ow. That was tough. I don't think that's going to move ever. Oop, comes with an extra one in case you're an idiot. These are covered in blue Loctite. That's nice. Nice little point there, digging into the belt. Guess I'm an idiot. Alright, that is the Nexbelt, so I'll put together. Nice. And first time buckles going in. It's kind of hard not to sound biased towards core, which is why I'm going to have some of my friends take a look at these belts too that are not in any way associated with core and have no skin in the game whatsoever. That being said, this buckle, I like the way it looks, but this latch is just so weak feeling. Like, it really feels like it's not going to hold anything. The magnet in there. So then pulling apart. Okay. Same amount of force I used with the core belt. It held up. That's good. Yep. Good. Side-by-side comparison with the sound of the buckle. Yeah. I'm no scientist, but this one feels and sounds a lot sturdier. Now let's get into the belts themselves. First up, let's talk about the Klik Belt. This is a very stiff, double nylon layered gun belt that uses a Cobra buckle for very easy, quick on and off action, right? It is adjustable with this flexible nylon here. The buckle moves around as you need it, and then it's very easy to click together and then release when you want it to be off. You have to push both of the tabs in at the same time in order to release the buckle. And the buckle itself is rated at 9 kilonewtons on the buckle itself and 18 kilonewtons if you use the buckle with the belt. 18 kilonewtons is approximately a lot. Basically, you could theoretically use this in a rappelling situation, a climbing situation, as a toe strap almost. It's a ridiculously strong buckle and belt combination. Next up, let's talk about the Nexbelt. This is very, very similar to Core Essentials design. It uses a ratcheting system that's sewn into the belt itself. The buckle uses the same sort of release mechanism that Core Essentials uses. There is 2 layers of nylon webbing. It feels very stiff, very sturdy and strong. I love the buckle design on the Nexbelt. I love the shape and the color and everything. This is good stuff here. How the buckle attaches to the belt itself, Core Essentials and Nex are both very similar in this way with their gun belts. There is a series of teeth that kind of clamp down onto the nylon itself, and then 2 set screws which actually screw into the belt, and I mean, this thing is never coming off accidentally, ever. My one sort of concern with this buckle is that it uses a magnet instead of a spring to lock itself in. And I'm just not sure exactly how strong that magnet is going to be, you know, in an actual everyday carry situation, as well as a, you know, a dynamic maybe range situation or deployment situation. Right? I'm not sure if I trust that magnet 100%. Time will tell. This is again going to be a two-part video, so I'm going to wear this belt for quite a while. You know, carry my gun, take it on the range, all that good stuff, and I'll get a better sense for how strong that magnet actually is. Another thing that's different from the Core Essentials buckle is that the actual release lever is flush with the bottom of the buckle here, which means taking it on and off, you actually have to... It's a little bit more difficult to find the lever than with the Core Essentials belt. It sticks down a little bit further with the Core versus being recessed like it is on the Nexbelt. That being said, it feels like a really sturdy belt. I don't think I'd have any issues carrying it. Again, my only sort of concern is that magnet closure. I'm not sure how strong that is or if it's going to slip, things like that. Next up, let's talk about the Core Essentials Gun Belt 2.0. This thing is ridiculously stiff. It will not collapse on itself. I'm pretty confident ever. I mean, it is like ridiculously strong. The buckle itself, again, uses that same, you know, internally sewn ratchet and track system. The Core belt uses a spring, nice and stiff, strong spring to latch into the track, and the release handle of that spring is pushed away from the buckle itself a little bit further than the Nexbelt and is kind of off by itself. So it's very easy to find and release with one hand without looking at all. The buckle itself, again, very similar to Nexbelt, uses the teeth that close in on the nylon itself of the belt and two set screws screwed into the belt. So again, just like Nex, this thing is never coming out of there accidentally. It's extremely strong. And the set screws is one of the biggest differences between the gun belt that I have been wearing for the last 2 years and the new 2.0 version. Those set screws add a lot more strength and holding power to hold the buckle onto the belt. Another big difference between the Core Essentials belt and the other belts is the inside material is not nylon. It's unobtainium rubber or something. It's some kind of neoprene rubber material. I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's a very nice, pleasant feel. The overall fit and finish of the belt is extremely nice. I mean, this is definitely a premium belt for sure, and it's absolutely a gun belt. It's extremely strong, stiff, sturdy, good stuff. Finally, we have the 511 TDU belt. This is the cheapest belt of all of the 4 that I have. And the major difference between this belt and the others is the buckle design. This closure system is just like a standard issued military belt. You've got a, I don't even know what to call this, a buckle, a strap, a closure mechanism where the belt feeds through itself and then back through again and friction locks itself basically. One interesting thing about the 511 belt that is not true with the others is that it's reversible. So you can have a green belt, an OD green belt, or a black belt, which is pretty cool. The stiffness of the belt it's very stiff, just like the others. There is a little bit of give to it. If I squeeze relatively hard, I mean, I can compress that down. There's 2 layers of nylon and 5 strands of thread holding everything together. Overall, I mean, it's a gun belt. If you are on a budget and you're looking for a gun belt specifically designed to carry the weight of a gun, and you don't want to spend, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, $200 on a gun belt, this is definitely a viable option for, you know, if you're on a budget. Would I wear it every day personally? No, because I have other belts that are more comfortable and more easily adjustable. However, I'm going to wear this one every day for an extended period of time to make sure I give it the proper review time that it deserves, along with all of the others. that is going to do it for this video. Let me know in the comments below if you wear any of the belts mentioned today, what you think of it, what your thoughts are. Share with the community. Obviously, I'm partial to Core Essentials, but any one of these belts would be a great gun belt overall. So, what are your thoughts? Now, obviously, all of the belts here do not represent each of the manufacturer's only options. You've got tons of different choices for each one. Nylon, leather, some kind of carbon fiber thing. I'm not sure if that's... Cut. Models that were sent to me from Core Essentials. Obviously, we have a Core Essentials Gun Belt 2.0. We have a Klik Belt, a 511 TDU belt, and a fourth belt, which I do not currently remember the name of. Nexbelt, that's the one. Thank you, Heather. Okay.
Action.
I hadn't quite got my thoughts together yet. Hang on.
Action.
And there's a motorcycle. Good. To give you another idea of how stiff the Core Essentials belt is, this is the part that I cut off that was extra. And yeah. it's stiff. It's strong. That's it for today's video. Or not.